Good day. God bless you. Welcome back, guys. My name is Zach, and this is episode 44 in the Self Mastery series. First off, I just want to thank God and praise the Lord Jesus Christ for every moment of this life that I woke up today and was given the opportunity to enjoy another day of life. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily strength and forgive us our sins as we have forgive those who have sinned against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, now and forever. Amen. Theme of this video, I haven't went live for like a week and a half, and I see why, because I'm so glad I named this series Self Mastery, because it's exactly what I feel like it is. It's what it's about, it's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping somebody out there can benefit from my journey. Which, by the way, thank you for the new subscribers. A lot of advertising going lately. Several more subscribers have come in. So thank you guys. I hope you'll hit that notification bell and see all of my new videos as they come out. And on that note, I just want to talk about what is changing. That I'm far more disciplined now. My self-control and my discipline are skyrocketing. I'm feeling wonderful about it. I'm not having so much struggle with temptation. I'm having temptation, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that have helped me overcome that. So let's just dive right into that. You've heard it before. You've heard it on this channel. It's all in your head. It's a head game. And, it is so much just a head game. Like I've heard about, like weight loss is 90% your diet and 10% working out. And I've always agreed with it because I've lost tons of weight without working out at all. And I've worked out 2.5 years, 6 days a week for 2.5 years, and did not lose any weight. I think I actually gained weight in that time. But I think depending on how you're working out and what kind of struggle you're placing your body under and what kind of stresses you're inducing your body, like high intensity interval training, long distance running, circuit training, high intensity weightlifting, where you're just pumping it out. I think it's such a benefit to your head game to get the rest of your diet and fitness routine under control that I think I want to give it a lot more credit than just 10%. So as far as the head game goes, I was thinking about my cold showers, and because it's cold. Cold is a way of it's a form of pain. It's your body's reaction to like, get out of here. This is going to kill you. And if in a long run, you can't be cold. You can't be in 40-degree temperature nude for very long. You will be dead. So it's a survival mechanism to keep you safe. So I started thinking, well, like, when I've read all about cold showers. There's YouTube channels out there. Wim Hof is the big one. Talking about the benefits of actually being in the cold water. But this is not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that 10 seconds leading up to me, because I take the hot shower first, where I clean my whole body and suds up and soap up and shampoo and whatever, get that all off. That 10-second pause, 5-second, 10-second pause in between, where I switch it to all cold water. That's the head game, because I have to tell myself, okay, this is about to suck. It sucks on your body. And it does get a lot easier. I'll admit that. I could stand there for about 2 minutes now. I almost forget about it after about 30 seconds or a minute. You start daydreaming about other shit in your life, and you're just kind of standing there in the cold water. So that cold shower head game portion of it, okay? Number one, that the head game of the cold shower can really get your head game under control. 2, for the head game, running long distances. And that could be a quarter mile for you. It could be 25 miles for you, whatever a long distance is to you, a long, slow run, or even a push and a pace on a shorter, half that distance run. It has great physical benefits where, I'm not even going to talk about all the benefits of running. I don't even have a list written down of them all, which is, maybe I'll do that, but it's so much more a head game to me. Like yesterday was an example. I had a 30-minute tempo run, which I know it takes me about 30 minutes to run a 5K. So I was like, I won't pay attention to the time. I'll just run a 5K. So I did a 1 mile warm up. Then I pushed myself for a 5K and then a 1 mile cool down. The 1 mile cool down ended up being about a half mile. It's just because of the spacing on the trail. I messed it up a little bit. So anyway, I didn't feel great yesterday to even go for a run. But, I tell myself, well, the warm up will be easy. And then you just do what you can do from there. You're just going to do it. You're just going to do whatever you can do. If it ends up being you're walking, then that's you're walking, whatever. And I ended up running a 5K in like 33 or 34 minutes. I had it. I had it all written down yesterday, but 34 minutes and 33 seconds. So it wasn't very impressive to me at all, but it was pushing. It was rolling hills, and the hills were just slaying me. Every hill I went up, I was running. I could have easily walked. If I had a speed walked, I could have probably walked faster up some of these hills, but they weren't like steep hills. They were just like sloping, rolling hills. So it was really a really good run, and I kept my heart rate at an average 145, which was great for a moderate tempo run, hard tempo run. I probably could have ran a little faster. I wasn't looking at my pace, though. I just wanted to not look at my watch for the whole time. Anyway, my point is the head game of it. The number of times your body is just telling you to stop, telling you to just walk, slow down, don't run, your heart rate's elevated, blah, blah, blah. How wonderful that is to help control yourself when you have these desires. So talking about I haven't cheated at all in, what day is it? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. So I think I started this. I really got disciplined last Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 6 days, 0 cheating, 0 sugar, 0 snacks. I've eaten my one meal and in a short time, just eat it. And if I eat a little more after that, it's within an hour, like big time within an hour. And it has been, very, very low carbohydrate. So I have another video I'm making that's going to be a longer, like a before and after of a 10 and a 20 and a 30 days on this routine I'm doing. And that's another point of the head game. I have this goal, this short-term goal to create something or to prove something to myself, to show Zach that he is in control. He is mastering and conquering self. And another thing to understand is you're never really going to be there. You're never totally like standing on top of the mountain and raising your hands for the rest of your life. And you really don't want to be, because you want to be going somewhere. I made a short the other day because I heard this saying, life gets easy when you live it the hard way. And that's a head game. That's a choice you have to make to decide to do something difficult, like switch that to cold. Zach, are you willing to live life the hard way? And if you're not immediately saying yes, then okay, you're not ready. But if you're willing to say yes, then what you do, of course, you switch that to cold. Of course, you keep running and you keep pushing yourself to your daily goal. That was just an afternoon run, 64 degrees out here in Minnesota, down the trail by the river, in the cover of the trees, a little cool out in the sun. It was a little hot, and it kind of went back and forth. It was wonderful. It was just the short-term goal of the self-mastery, like just one, I could say 1 mile at a time, but I was literally counting my footsteps sometimes. I'll count every time my left foot strikes the ground. Count to 100, and I know I've went like 0.15 miles or something like that, whatever it is. It controls my breathing. It gets my head game out of that I'm hyperventilating or that I'm running at all. It's just I'm counting, and it's just a short-term goal. Like, let's just make this next quarter mile go by really easy and count to 200. And, it gets super boring. I'm not saying to do that while you're running. I'm just saying I've done it intermittently to control my breathing while I'm out on a run. Another thing I learned in the basic training when I was in the Army, is to take a double inhale on my steps, like Not that exaggerated of a pause, but like, and it's really helped me control my breathing when I'm out running, and it's part of just keeping that head game strong. So ask ask yourself the right questions about life, about your circumstances, about are you, and you say, am I willing to do it the hard way and switch that cold on and go for a run? And we're going to get to how it helps so much in temptations as well. You have to ask your wife. Obviously, you have to ask the right questions in life to get the right answers, right? So I'll be tempted to do whatever it is. Let's just say my Dairy Queen ice cream. I'll use that example because it's probably been the number one cheat that I've done in the last what is it, September? So this channel has been going for 9 months. The number one cheat, like the worst cheat, is going to get a large ice cream from Dairy Queen, or just running down to the store and getting a little quart of ice cream or whatever those things are, like that big, and just wrecking half of it and then half of it the next day or whatever. Those are days that the head game wasn't strong. Those are games, that I gave in to temptation because I just felt I couldn't solve it, And now when it happens, and it's only been 6 days, so let's rock steady. Are you willing to wait for that reward, Zach? Are you willing to postpone that gratification to get in? The yeses are just flying out of my brain before I even finish the question to myself, but I keep asking the questions. Are you willing to live life the hard way so that'll be a lot easier? And then I envision my flat stomach and my smaller face and my toned up body and my sleek runner's fitness. Are you willing to give up on that? Sometimes it's just not even all you have to do is wait a couple minutes. Okay, this was a study done with children a while back. It's a famous study done by researchers where they took so many children, it was hundreds of them, and they offered them a piece of candy, and let's just, they put it right in front of them. It was a marshmallow or a candy bar, and they said, you can have this now, or you can wait. And they had a time. I don't remember the time, if it was a half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour. And if you wait, you can have two. So it was like let's just say one of those big marshmallows, like that you use to make like s'mores. And these children were young, like under 10, let's say 5 to 10 years old. And a lot of and then they would leave the reward in front of the child. And this is you can look this study up. It's well known. Some of the kids would just eat it, and they would come back and it'd be gone, and they'd laugh. I couldn't wait. And some kids would wait, and they'd come back in 45 minutes and they'd get a second. And then they followed these children over years and years, decades even. And the children that were able to wait for the reward and there was like 3 big factors. It was like SAT scores, engagement with law enforcement, like if you ever got arrested, went to jail, DUI, stuff like that. And there was one other one. It might have been like marital status or something like that. But anyway, the people that were able to delay the gratification and wait for an extra reward did better in life. And so I don't even ask myself, like, Zach, are you willing to, I forgot the point of that. So they went back and looked. These children waited. They did a lot better in life. Both sets of children just ate a marshmallow. It doesn't seem like it'd be that significant, but the ones that were able to delay it, they went and looked because it was all on camera. Obviously the parents were all on board. It was a study, and they were paid for their time. What did the children do that waited? How were they able to wait? Let me get a sip of coffee, because I don't know how, guys, I slept 12 hours today. It is like 11 a.m. I slept from like 10 p.m. to 10:30 a.m. When you live life the hard way, man, it gets easy. And even sleep got easy. Okay, back to the story with the children. The ones that were able to delay gratification for even 30 minutes, 60 minutes, I don't remember. I should have wrote it down. They distracted themselves. Some of them turned their chair around and didn't look at it. Some of them like fiddled with the desk or kicked the chair. And some of them even like played with it and waited and like, I'm going to get to, So they concluded the children distracted themselves from the temptation. The children that gave in, like, went like this and just looked at it. And they just couldn't resist because they were just thinking, don't eat it, don't eat it, don't eat it. And your body, and I'm not saying I 100% agree, but if you read all them guru, like, what are those kind of books called? Like manifestation type books and the universe provides type books. I only believe in God, but that the universe doesn't hear no. So if you hear don't eat it, all your mind, all your subconscious hears is eat it, eat it, eat it. And so them children ate it right away. So point of that story is, how does it help me? I think about this story when I use this question to myself. Am I willing to distract myself for 1 or 2 minutes to allow this temptation to just get distracted, let it go away? And I did it yesterday. I was driving around and, I'm just eating my one meal and I knew I was doing great. I was having a great day. I slept good. I had a hard workout. I was moving some things around. And it wouldn't have killed me to go eat some ice cream. And then boom, are you willing to wait? Yes. Are you willing to delay gratification? Yes. And the yeses just pop out. And then you have to start asking yourself more specific questions like, are you willing to just not eat it then? Yes. Are you willing to find an alternate behavior when these temptations arise? Yes. And it goes back all the way back to the beginning of this channel when I talked about developing habits. I was onto something, guys, because I had read a bunch of self-help books and it was part of what made me want to start the YouTube channel to begin with. It's almost like my personal journal. And, hey, if my personal journal can help people achieve things in life, weight loss being one of them, but also, health and wealth and happiness is what it's all about. But this channel was all about starting out, I'm wanting to define that happiness. And for me, it's the service of my Lord Jesus Christ. Am I willing to, and, you start getting sidetracked, you start getting distracted from what it was that you were trying to not do, like go get ice cream or eat a cheat meal. And it's really working just gangbusters, like it's working flawlessly. If your mind can say, because it's a conscious thought, it's not like some subconscious uncontrolled feelings. You're consciously aware that the thought you're having is negative, that it's okay, it's normal to have negative thoughts. You almost want to worry if you don't have negative. They help you guide where you should go to make life difficult, to live life the hard way so that it gets super easy. Because I'm telling you, obviously, Zach knows, I know, if I don't eat ice cream at all for the next 30 days, that I will be in a better physical condition. Especially being formerly diabetic. I'm like borderline diabetic, pre-diabetic still, which doesn't even bother me because I was so full-blown diabetic. But I needed to start bothering me a little more, because why have an A1C of 5.9 when you can have an A1C of 4.9? That's my new goal, is to really crush it down there. And I bet you it gets there when this weight keeps dropping off. And there's another thing. A few weeks back, I really let the scale get to my head. And I was doing great every day. It was when it was maybe a month ago when I had some videos and I was saying, hey, I'm doing great on OMAD. I'm just eating in the 1 hour. And I lost weight every single day for like a week or more. And the one day that I didn't lose weight, like I got home from work and I was weighing before my meal, and I was preparing my meal and I jumped on the scale and I weighed more, and it broke me. It just threw me off course. Where now, for example, I got my scale over here. I got I got an app on my phone that's connected to my scale. And, that when I weigh in, it gives me body fat and blah, 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 blah. I weighed 2 pounds more than I did yesterday. And in my mind, though, I'd already told myself, you drank 10 tons of water after the run. Well, because I weighed after the run too. So I was dipped down from running 5 miles. So I weighed a certain amount. And so I knew I was so it didn't bother me at all. It's like, hey, this is how fitness goes. This is how weight loss goes. Which, by the way, yeah, the pounds are coming back off. big time. And it's been mostly about, well, continuing the positive behaviors, and reducing my life down to, I'm almost done moving out. I have like, the reason there's cleaners and shit around is because there's nothing in the cupboards. Says I have no furniture here. All I have is this folding. This is like a camping chair, my little computer desk, and I got a tiny little mattress on the floor. Like, my life is so simple. It is. I'm loving this. Like, I'm like, hey, I need to like, all my stuff is at the other place now, and I'm like, I don't even want all that other stuff. This is easy to live this way. It's easy to clean. It's easy to maintain. It requires little thought and anxiety in your mind. So I'm sleeping great. The cold showers are wonderful. The running is wonderful. I'm wanting to add in some more calisthenic type workouts, and I'm trying to. I'm 51 years old, and I really feel these runs. Like, I'm sore on my days off. That's why I just slept 12 hours. I have no doubt. Those rolling hills knocked it out. And I have one more thing here from one of my favorite doctors on YouTube, and I can't remember if it's Dr. Stan Ekberg or what's the other doctor's name? Oh, Eric Berg or something like that. I think this was a Stan Ekberg one, and he's got a ton. He's got millions of followers, and he has a lot of top 10 videos. If you don't know, if YouTube is like, it's very well known when you're a YouTube creator to like make top 10 videos, top 8 videos. People love clicking on those, whatever the topic is. And this one was the top 10 foods to not eat. And he went into greater detail on each one and why and how and what's happening in your body and the chemical composition of the foods. And it just helps me, though, to know how negative some of these processed foods, sugars, oils, ultra processed foods, how bad they are for you. And so he started out his video on the bottom, and he started out with rice, and he was like, not that rice is the worst thing in the world, but he wanted to show the chemical process that's happening in your body, especially when you're overweight. You can go over to Asia and find people that have eaten rice every single day of their life, and they live to be over 100. Matter of fact, some of the longest living average age countries, I think Taiwan is one of them right now. They eat rice every day. They eat a lot of beef, actually. They have the highest beef consumption in the world per day at like 1.5 pounds of beef, and they live the longest. So boom about that. So anyway, he started with rice, and he went into great detail about it. So I don't care about all the details right now. I'm just trying to convey the message that reducing carbs, especially when you're overweight, comparing it over to the overseas, they never got fat. They eat a small amount of rice, a lot of vegetables, and a small amount of meat. And some of them don't even eat meat, and live to be 100. So matter of fact, one of the oldest living guys that has ever had a child is an Indian guy. And he had a child in his, God, I want to say 90s. And he's a vegetarian. So anyway, those rice was like number 10, and number 9 was bread. And he was like saying, hey, this is a top 10 list. I'm not listing everything, but in my mind, I was like, throw in pasta, throw in, any of the refined grains, because they're made out of grains, the bread, the pasta, the rice itself is, and it's just because you're overweight and you have this, you have, what is it called? Insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome. It just makes these things so much worse for you. So it was rice, bread. Number 8 was alcohol. And that's kind of a no brainer. I had read so much about alcohol. When I first quit drinking alcohol in 2016, I lost like 65 pounds in 3 months. It's like the alcohol is really messing up your body. I had quit all these things. Number 7 was ultra processed foods. And when you go through this list, these processed foods. Let me continue on the list, and then I'm going to come back to this. So, and then number 6 was fast food, and it's just kind of obvious. So I'm going to go to 5 is seed oils. So like the kind of oils that are just super highly processed, they're not natural at all. And he had a lot deeper explanation of as far as like the trans fat and what types of fat, and if they're like saturated fat or polyunsaturated fat, or the different triglyceride contents. And so I'm just conveying the messages. Like it's just like, guys, believe me. Like number 4 was fried food, and then it was like, well, yeah, because it's fried in like vegetable oils and peanut oils and different, terribly processed oils that are just destructive to the body. Number 3 was margarine. It's made out of seed oil. And, number 2 was donuts, and it's kind of jokey, but like, it's because it's an example of a food. So when you go back to the rice and the bread, and he explains how, like, let's just take bread, I'm like, how does my blood sugar skyrocket up just as much, if not more, eating bread than it does eating sugar? And he went into great detail explaining how bread, basically the way it's made and processed nowadays in America, it is sugar. It's what is it? Is it fructose and glucose, or fructose and sucrose? Whatever it is, like sugar is like let's just say fructose and glucose, and let's just say bread is fructose and sucrose, or something. Like, I might be quoting it wrong, but the message is the same, that bread and sugar are really very little different in your body. And so donuts, number 1 was sugar, by the way. So 2, donuts, it's made out of sugar, it's made out of starch, the dough, and then it's fried in oil. So it's an example, really, of the top 10 worst thing, right? And then let me back up to the ultra processed foods, which was number 7. Same thing, because it's sugar, it's oil, it's chemicals, things that, when it says like natural flavors or artificial flavors, or artificial colorings, these chemicals, they don't even, they had to find legal ways to not list them on there, because they don't want to expose how terrible they are for you. And his example, if you're going to fry, use olive oil. And then if you're going to cook, like, olive oil doesn't have a super high, like, flash point or whatever it's called. It darkens easy when you're frying with it. To even using lard would be better. And he said coconut oil. So over those 2 choices, I'd probably use coconut oil. But I'm realizing now some of these fats are not as bad as, well, most of these, if you find the healthy fats, like beef fat, like animal protein, animal fat is super good for you. And they've proven it. Time and time again, these people talk about how bad their body reacts to meat, but then they eat all these processed and just crazy processed foods. Like a lot of vegetarians I know, a couple of them I'm thinking of in specific, they eat the most artificially created foods of anybody I know. And then they have all these health problems, and they say, oh, it's from when I ate meat. It's like, you don't even eat meat anymore. And so how is the health problem from, so anyway, I wanted to just run down this top 10 list, because it's just an example of backing up your questioning of yourself. Am I willing to delay my thought process for 1 or 2 minutes to get me off track of this temptation and get me on track to my good behavior, my good habits? And then these in the back of your mind really help. Like that ice cream. And it brings back the lactose in ice cream, and the dairy products can cause such acid reflux, heartburn. It's just like life gets easier when I live it the hard way, and I don't, and it ends up being, it's just easier. It's just easier to be disciplined. It's just easier to be to exercise your self-control. But it's so hard to get started and get going. And that's why I started this channel, because I knew I just needed help. And go talk to a therapist and tell me who's talking more often. It's going to be like 90% you talking and 10% them talking. So I'm just doing the 90% me talking part. And then I go read and listen to Audible books. Speaking of that, let me click on it quick. And, I like to just sometimes tell you guys where I'm at. I'm still reading the Bible, intermittently in between my Audible books. So I'll go listen to, like the last one I listened to, I just started off listening to Genesis, and I listened to Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. That I didn't finish it all, but like that was my kind of a playlist I had going. And then I listened to some Audible books, and then I went back to the New Testament and listened to like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, Corinthians, and this that. I didn't finish them all, but that was kind of the playlist I had going. And wonderful life lessons in the Bible, obviously, but learning the story of Jesus Christ and understanding. If you do a little research historically, archaeologically around the world, it's obvious he was here. There's a reason all these other religions attempt to deny Christ. Nowhere in the Bible does it deny any particular religion except for just all of them. Like they're all Baal worship. They're all Satan trying to fool you. Where all these other religions specifically, intentfully, purposely attack Jesus Christ. And that gives me great faith that it must be the right one. I'm listening to this series of books, Simple Self-Discipline box set, 6-book bundle. And I think it's all the same author, this Martin Meadows, How to Build Self-Discipline, Daily Self-Discipline, Self-Discipline Dieter, and so I think I listened to those 3 books so far. I think I'm in the middle of the Self-Discipline Dieter, and he doesn't use this particular are you willing question. I got that from another book from Gary John Bishop. I think he's Scottish, English, Ireland, can't remember where he's from. He has the accent. I actually enjoy his accent, and it makes his books come alive a little more for me. And that was one of his talking points in one of his books. I think it was one of the either Unfuck Yourself or Do the Work books of his. I think most of his books have that swear word mixed in them, so they kind of easily draw attention to themselves and that they're his books. And it just worked for me. I had listened to it, like I said in one of my other videos, I'd listened to it like 3 times in a row recently, and the 3rd time it hit. And the big thing when I say it hit is like I started actually doing it. You read all these books. I go all the way back to Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. It has a ton of instructional content. Like you're not intended to just read this book. Like you have to do this. Stop here and write this out. Write this goal out and read it before bed, and put a poster on your door as you leave so you can see it as you walk out and read that. And I never did any of it. I'm like, this book is just life changing, and then your life doesn't change because you're not actually doing any of it. And that's something else that hit with me is you got to do it. You have to do it, guys. The planning is not going to work anymore. If you're willing to wait till tomorrow, you're not going to do it. You have to start right now. You have to, I cleaned out my fridge. I wish I could grab my laptop and go, like, I even threw all the condiments out of my fridge. I had some, what do you call them? Like ramen noodles laying around. I got rid of those. I still have some rice laying around, but it's not too tempting for me. So, and if it was, I would get rid of that too. So I'm still in this little efficiency for another like 2 weeks, 19 days, something like that. Not even 16 days. So 2 weeks, I'll be out of here. But in this 2 weeks, I'm just taking advantage of this deprived situation where, and when I say deprived, I mean set up for success situation that I'm in, that I just don't have any other food here. I will make it I'll make it the, what do you call it? The thumbnail for this video. I forgot all about it. I took a picture of when I went shopping yesterday or the day before. I just go to Sam's Club, and they have good deals on meat there. And I just picked up some steaks, some like short ribs, beef short ribs, some lamb chops, and I did buy some smoked Gouda because it has very low carbs as well, and it's a little 1 pound, so I could kind of treat myself with the meat and the cheese. So that's been wonderful. The cheese though did give me heartburn, so I my body's cleaned out. That dairy definitely interacted with me, and it actually helped me a little bit yesterday. It made me eat less because I didn't feel good with this heartburn. I ate a little cheese after my run. I loaded up on water, and I was like, well, I'm just so tired. I don't want to cook yet. So I just ate like maybe like 4 ounces of cheese, which is way too much cheese to be eating at once. Don't take this as diet advice. I'm just trying to crush it, guys. And then I made some lamb chops, and I ate like it was like 6 chunks. If you ever seen like what lamb chops come in, and I ate like 3 of the 6 chunks, and I still have them in the fridge. And I was just like, oh, I'm just going to bed. And I ended up falling asleep so early, and I slept. This is the longest I've slept, and I can recent memory. Like I said, I'm sure I was sleeping before 11 p.m. and 10 p.m. maybe, and I slept all the way to almost 11 a.m. It was just so crazy awesome. I mean, I feel great. It's a total rest day. My younger son has a football game later on, so I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna relax and drink water and go to his game, and that will kind of burn up the evening, and then I won't get back from that until probably close to 8 p.m. And then it'll be time to eat some food and go the hell to bed. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please hit that thumbs up. If you're watching the video, if you're new to the channel, welcome, guys. There's tons of new subscribers over the last few days. Let me know where you're at in the world, where you're at in your diet and fitness routine. If any of the videos have helped you, go back and watch the podcast, the Healthy, Wealthy, Happy series, and see if you can get some tips out of that. Starting off, I was still drinking a lot of alcohol. I was still smoking an e-cigarette. I was not working out. I was not eating right. And 9 months later here, I'm about, I'm down a lot of weight, and I'm going to lose a lot more. And I'm just mastering self. And it's been a long 9 months of figuring it out. And that's another thing, guys, when you place a time stamp on your success and you say, I have to lose so much weight in so much time, it's really a fail. It's an epic fail, because the behavior is never going to end, is the only way you're going to succeed, really. If you're going to go back to your old behavior, well, then you're going to go back to your old body. So you really have to say, the weight is going to come off. It's the behaviors that have to just continuously proceed. So, I told myself when I started the channel, I wanted to lose 100 pounds. And if it takes 2 years, that's fine. And now, I still want to lose 100 pounds in 2 years. Easily could have done it in 1 year if I was more disciplined, obviously, but that's not my point anymore. I have that goal, and I'll be super excited when I hit that 100 pounds down. Which really, when I'm 215 pounds, I'll be 100 pounds down, because I was 315 pounds in a long time ago. But when I first started the channel, I was 270 pounds. So when I hit 170 pounds, it will be a celebratory moment in the channel for sure. But my lifestyle is what's important to me now, is being, I don't always have to run half marathons. I'm not feeling like that is something that must be done for me to be fit. I feel like I could maybe just run 5Ks or 10Ks, but I do have some ambitions to run. I'm going to run the half marathon here next month, and then push myself next year to run a whole marathon, so that'll just be a lot of training and a lot of fun and excitement. But after that, I don't know. We'll see where we're at. If hopefully by that half marathon, or by that whole marathon next year, hopefully we can be a lot closer to that 100 pounds down, and that will make it a lot easier. So guys, that's all I got for today. I think it was just a day off work, and I was feeling great and well rested. And part of the reason I hadn't been making videos is because I'm just feeling like I'm succeeding, and like I didn't need to journal today, and then I realized, hey, let's get on there and just at least document what we're doing, where we're at, and how we're feeling, and how this head game is just turning around. So stay strong, guys. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. Jesus loves you. I love you. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode.